Welcome back, everybody. A couple weeks ago, I did the review on my Brute 30-ton hydraulic log splitter. One of the things that the splitter came with that I didn't really cover in the review video was it come with an attachment to go on the wedge that makes it work kind of like a four-way. I'll show you that attachment. And then we'll take it out, stick it on the splitter, and split a little with it. So what we have is a rather simple wedge attachment that came with it. I didn't go over this in the review video because I hadn't really. I think I've put it on there once or one time. I know it was one time. Just to see what it would do. It seemed to work okay. I haven't really done a lot with it, so today we're going to play with it a little more and kind of see what it will do. As you can see, it's kind of a crude attachment. It's not very sophisticated by any means. It slips right over the top of the wedge that's on the splitter. Hooks over it with this strap here, and then to retain it to the machine, this loops around the ram and just pins on, and that just keeps it from pulling off. My biggest thing with it is these wings are not very wide, and that to me, I just can't imagine it doing a lot. But we'll go out and put it on there, like I said, and we'll see what it actually does. Alright, everybody. I've got the four-way attachment. I've already got the splitter warmed up. Fluids checked. The rail's been greased. And I left the ram part way out. Leaving the ram part way out makes putting this on a whole lot easier. So it is pretty simple. Pull the little pin, it just slides down over the wedge, and then you take the cable, loop it around the ram on the cylinder, I think actually this is, and then put the retaining pin back in it. I'll move the camera so you guys can see what I was doing there. So there you can see that rib is just sitting right over the top of the wedge, and then this wire or cable, it goes down and around the cylinder here, cylinder ram. And then that pin just keeps it retained on there. So we'll fire back up, and I'll grab a few maple rounds, and we'll see how it works. Well, there you have it. That is the little attachment that comes with the Brute 30-ton log splitter. The edges on it still look pretty good. So I'm actually a little bit impressed with it, as long as you're using the right size rounds. We just split some maple, some soft maple, some shagbark hickory, and wild cherry. So those were the 3 different species. It definitely walks right through the maple. There you have it, the 4-way attachment installed on the Brute 30-ton log splitter. Definitely worked better than I expected, especially on the soft maple. It really waded right through that stuff, especially in the rounds that were in that 8 to 10 inch diameter. Even on the shagbark hickory, which I was wasn't sure how, with it being as stringy as it is, I was kind of curious of how it would do on that, and it did it just fine. The big shagbark hickory round, it split it in half. It didn't do the 4-way action. It definitely put cracks in it, but you definitely have to resplit on those cracks. The attachment did hold up really well. I was worried about it kind of coming off or pulling off of the wedge, and did not have any of that. So for kind of a janky little attachment, it definitely did what it needed to do. Now that I've seen it, probably on some of this straighter grained, smaller rounds, I'll probably actually utilize it a lot more, just due to the speed of splitting these smaller rounds. Definitely will speed the old process up. So hey, that's all I got time for today. I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with me, and we'll see you next week. Have a good week.